गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रजरंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी यमुना तीरवन यशोदानंदन ब्रजरंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रजरंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Thank you so much. Gita Sankirtan Yajna ki Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki. Let's start with Mangalachan prayers. Please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurum militam yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namam Vishnupadhaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langayati yatkarim yatkapadam mahamande Shri Gurati Mitaram Paramanandam Madhamam Shri Satanam. Thank you all for coming. I know it's holiday season. Most of the schools are off. Still they all need it. Thank you so much. It shows how much you have given importance to this. Thank you so much. So today's session, everyone, how did you find the mind session last week? Yeah, it was great, right? So mind session was mostly to deal with our own self. So today's session is mostly will help you deal with how to deal with others, right? And like always, we will dedicate this session to A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of ISKCON. So because of whom, we are actually able to discuss the principles that is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. Now prior to this, the wisdom of Bhagavad Gita was only limited to India. It is only because of His grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who because of His mercy, He translated and provided us Bhagavad Gita as it is for us to understand it in a better way. And it is not only helping us, it is helping the world, the entire world. Right? So today we see devotees all around the world. And it's only because of His mercy, so we dedicate this presentation to them. So today's session is called Who is Pulling My Strings? We also call it Unveiling the Mask. Right? So let's start the session. Okay. This is about other people. So you would have seen this, why so many people we meet, why the behavior and their mood suddenly changes. Right? You would have seen this while you're interacting with other people. How come someone is very good at some point of time and suddenly turns bad at a certain point of time, right? And there are some people who are very close friends, and because of some issues or some influence, he turns out to be the worst enemy, right? You would have all experienced this, right? And this is, now also you would have seen, about, even if I'm talking about ourselves, you would have seen we are constantly like a pendulum, right? Right. So sometimes we are in a good mood, sometimes we are in a bad mood, right? Everyone. Okay, can anyone tell me who's in good mood always? All right. Then someone, if you are at work also, some days we are highly productive, some days we are unproductive, right? And some days we are very enthusiastic. Everything that we do, we are very enthusiastic. At the same point of time, sometimes we are lethargic, procrastinating, right? This is about ourselves, which you all know, which is true. This is not something that I'm telling which you don't know, right? Now you have to understand that we are the same person. We have got the same kind of intelligence, same kind of knowledge, same kind of physical strength, same kind of expertise, but the results are different every time, right? The results are different every time. And sometimes we also wonder that sometimes we can do wonders, and sometimes we are total failure. So one thing we have to understand that I'm the same person, right? Same intelligence, same knowledge, same expertise, everything is same. But the results are very different every time. Now, is it just me or is someone else controlling me? That is what we are going to learn today. Who is controlling me? Am I the only doer? Or there are other personalities or variables involved? So we'll actually look into this deeply today. So that's why it's named Who is Pulling My Strings? So let's look at the first shloka. It's from the 18th chapter, 14th verse. Please repeat after me. Adhishtanam tata karta karanam cha pratagvidham vividhascha pratag chestham daivam chayavayatra panchamam. Can someone read the translation, please? The list of actions, body, the performer, the daily senses, the many kinds of humor, and ultimately the super soul. These are the five factors. So in this, Krishna is telling that there are five factors that is involved in any activity that you do. First is adhishthanam. Adhishthanam is the place of action. That's the body. Then karta. Who is karta? Our. So ourself. Soul. Then karanam cha pratak vidam. Who is that? The various senses. Okay. Then vividas cha pratak cheshta. The different kinds of endeavors that we do for that particular activity. And daivam. That is the super soul. Right? Paramatma we say. Right? So if you see, all these factors are involved in any activity that we do. Now we have to understand we are just one factor. That is karta. That is perform. Right? That is only. So whenever we whenever we do any kind of activities, we take a lot of credit. You know, I did it because of me. I did it. Right? So in Bhagavad Gita, there is a sloka, Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha ahankara vibudatma karta itiman. Right? The soul is actually bewildered by false ego, that it is the doer. But in actuality, who is doing it? It's the material world, the material modes of nature. So today we'll actually study the material modes of nature, right? So let's I'll give you for a better understanding. Now we have five factors. We'll actually make it into three factors. Okay. So we'll actually take the soul, that is ourselves. Then we'll take super soul, which is Paramatma, and all the three activities, which is various senses, different kinds of endeavor, and place of action as one, which is the material nature. Okay. So for easy understanding, we will divide it into three parts. Okay. So first is Soul. So, what can soul do? There is only one thing that soul can do. What is it? Desire. Okay? And what happens when we desire? The next component that comes into picture is Paramatma. And then it is Prakriti. So I told you the 5 factors. We are actually condensing it to 3 factors. Right? One is soul, Paramatma, and Prakriti. Okay? So soul, as such, soul can only desire. And what does Paramatma do? Paramatma witnesses and sanctions. Right? And once Paramatma witnesses and sanctions, it is ordering the material nature to execute or manifest. Is this clear? This triangle is clear? Right? Now, I'll give you another example. Today I want to go shopping. And I picked a pair of jeans and a pair of t-shirt. And I take it to the counter. What will decide that I can take it home? The amount? Yes? Payment. Right? My credit card, whatever card I'm holding, the purse, that will decide if I can take the jeans and t-shirt. That's it. Similar. So we desire a certain aspect, we desire, and Paramatma will sanction it based on the credits that you have. Simple, right? For example, if there is a pauper and he desires to have a Mercedes Benz, Paramatma will see, he is witnessing and he will sanction only if he has credit. He has credit only, he can sanction. And then he tells the material nature to execute it. So there is a common understanding that a lot of people think that it is because of material nature, everything works under the material nature. But once you read Bhagavad Gita very scrutinizingly, you understand that Krishna orders the material nature. There's a shloka, Maya adhekshena prakriti suyate characharam. Hetu nanena kaunteya jagat vipari vartate. So Krishna says, Maya adhekshena prakriti. Under my supervision, I am controlling the material nature. Right? So there is a wrong notion that people have, that is the material nature, which is actually nature, which actually gets all the avatars come because of the material nature. There's a wrong understanding. There are many philosophies actually, right? But you have to understand it from the right place, and that's from Bhagavad Gita, where the Lord Himself says, "Maya dhikshena prakriti." Under my supervision, under my order, the prakriti works. Right? Now, when a soul desires something good, what comes out of it? What comes out of it? If I'm desiring something good based on scriptures, punya, we remember punya, and that will lead us to enjoy. So if it is a bad desire, what will happen? Papa and suffering. Okay, that's clear, right? Okay, so keep this in your mind, and let's go deeper. Now, everybody would have heard about the 3 modes of material nature. Everyone knows this? What is the 3 gunas? Sato guna, Rajo guna, and Tamo guna. In English, we say mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. So these are the 3 modes of material nature that act upon us. Right? And it's nice you actually note down the characteristics of each guna that I'll be speaking about. And once I explain the characteristics of each guna, I will ask you all which guna when you associate with. Okay? Simple, right? Very simple. Yeah, so there is goodness, passion, and ignorance. Okay. Let's start with the sloka. So let's look at goodness first. Please repeat after me. Mukta sango nahambadi धृति उत्साह समन्विता सिद्धि असध्यो निर्विकारः कर्ता सात्विक उच्यते. Please someone read the translation.
One who performs without the mode of himself without false ego, with great determination and enthusiasm, and without wavering in success or failure, especially a worker in the mode of.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So this is from chapter 18, right? So actually, if you see, this is a very difficult chapter also. If you talk about the modes of material nature, which is, I think, chapter 14 and 17 covers majority of it. That's a very difficult concept to understand also. So in this, the characteristics of a person under the mode of goodness is explained. So one who performs his duty without association with the modes of material nature, we'll keep it aside and we'll get down. We'll get back to that at a later point. Now, this is a person who works without false ego. The previous shloka I explained, right? The spirit soul is bewildered that he is thinking that he is the doer. But this person knows he is not, without he has false ego. Without false ego, he understands that he is not the doer. And he works in this particular, if you're talking about a person as a mode of goodness, if you give him any kind of work, the first thing that he'll say is, how to do this work? That is the first question that he'll ask. That is the characteristics of this particular person under the mode of goodness. How to do this work, right? And he will do it with great determination and great enthusiasm, right? And without wavering in success or failure. If there is success or failure, he is actually equipoised. It doesn't affect him, right? So you remember this. So it is without false ego, with great determination and enthusiasm, and without he's equipoised when there is success and when there is failure. Okay. Now we have to understand the kind of happiness the person enjoys under the mode of goodness. Okay, that is the next shloka that we talk about. Yattad agre vishamtiva pariname mratopamam Tatsukam satvikam proktam Atma buddhi prasadajam. Can someone read the translation? Thank you. So in this, a person who is under the mode of goodness, the kind of happiness that he enjoys, it is said, at first it's like poison, and later on what it becomes? Nectar. I'll give you a few examples. Now when I tell people to wake up early in the morning, 9 o'clock is not early in the morning. Right? So talking about 4 o'clock, 4:30, then we tell that please wake up during Brahma Muhurtam. It's always nice. Forget if you're not very spiritually, you're not very inclinated. Even if you are looking at physical wise, mental wise, it's all proven that if you get up early in the morning, it is very helpful. But what happens, we know our problems, right? We always go snooze, and after 1 hour we wake up. That is, if you are lucky, we wake up after 1 hour. Right? So always, that's why it said that beginning it is a poison, and later on it's a nectar. So we understand the benefits at a later point when we do it on a steady basis. Why? We need to wake up early in the morning. Now if I tell you about exercise also. So exercise, you would have seen New Year, right? Before New Year, we have these various offers run by the gym owners. And we have so many, what do you call them? Resolutions. I forgot that word because I never kept any of that. Because I kept and I failed, that's why. So I don't keep any New Year resolution. So New Year resolution, we all tell our friends, कल से gym join करते हैं. Yeah, ये साल body बनाएंगे. So because of that, a lot of gym owners actually give you a lot of offers also. 6 months, you just pay this, right? 2,999, 10,999, and you start. So we are full enthusiastic. We start off. 1 week, the whole enthusiasm fizzles out. 2 weeks max, right? Because it's not easy, right? First it's like poison, and then later on it's like nectar, right? So because to build muscle, you have to lift the dumbbells, right? You have to do barbell, and people who have go to gym, they know better usage of words, right? So many things that we do, but it is poison at the beginning, but nectar later on, because it is helpful to keep your body fit. Exercise is very helpful, but then there is a certain amount of discipline that we need to follow, which we don't. So that's why the people under the mode of goodness, the happiness that they enjoy, it is said poison in the beginning, nectar. Okay, so you all remember this, okay? The next one, let's look at passion. Characteristics of a person under the mode of passion. Ragi karma phala pretsur, lupto himsatmako suchi, harsha shokanvita karta, rajasa parikirtita. Someone read, please. Thank you so much, Madhu. So when I spoke about the kind of work, when a work is particularly given to a mode of goodness person, what is the kind of question that he asks? How to do it? Mode of goodness. He'll always ask how to do it, right? He's very focused on the work, how to do it. Results he will see it later. A person under the mode of passion. What if I give him some work? What is the first question that he'll ask? What is it in it for me? That is the first question that he will. Yes, he's always thinking about himself. What is in it for me, right? So if you look at this, he's attached. The worker is attached to the work and the fruits of the work, because he wants to enjoy the fruit of his labor. And then he's always greedy. He wants more, 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 more. He's never satisfied with what he has got. And then always envious. Always envious and jealous. Does anybody know what is the difference between jealousy and enviousness? No? So jealousy is, I don't have it, he has it, I want it. Envious is, I don't have it, he has it, I don't want him to have it. Yeah. Simple, no? Right? Small twist and turn, few words, and we understand what is the difference between jealousy and envious. Now, are we all jealous or envious? We are both, right? So, and then we are impure. The person under the mode of passion is impure, and he's totally moved by joy and sorrow. So you see the total contrast between the person under the mode of goodness and under the mode of passion. Because this person is so passionate, right? If you look at, see, I'm from sales background. So in my job, there is a lot of sales goals. There is so much target, so much quota that we need to achieve. So we are very passionate people. So when I go into the office, it's always about numbers, 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 right? So my boss will ask someone, my team, then I have to scold my team. That trickles down, right? So it's always like that. So always passionate to get the numbers, right? That's the mode of the person and the mode of passion is. And joy and sorrow, he's actually very affected. If there is so much joy, he will throw party, enjoy, call his friends and enjoy. Similarly, if there is failure, he is very sad. He is very morose. He probably may go into depression also. It's like a pendulum which goes extreme left and extreme right. So under the mode of goodness, it was equipoise. Joy and sorrow is equipoise. Under the mode of passion, he is always oscillating. Always oscillating. You understood that? These are the differences of the characteristics of a person under the mode of goodness and under the mode of passion. Now let's look at the kind of happiness this person derives under the mode of passion. We are discussing passion now. Vishendriya samyogan yattat agrimutopapam pariname vishameva tatsukam rajasamsritam. Please read.
That happiness which is derived from the contact of the senses with their object and which appears like nectar at first, but poison at the end is the strong creation of passion.
That's all. Right? So I forgot about the kind of this is what is the first thing, goodness, the kind of nectar that he enjoys, well, happiness. Poison first and nectar later. And what is the kind of happiness this person desires? Nectar first, poison first. So enjoy, enjoy. Now the mode is always enjoy. बाद में देख लेंगे जो हो रहा है. Right? That is the kind of happiness this person derives under the mode of passion. And he is not very so uh, if I need to say, these are the people who are actually in need of instant gratification. Everything you need, instant. Instant food. Now it's a day of instant. Everything is instant, no? Going to Swiggy, it is Instamart is there. Zepto, Blinkit, I don't know. The poor people are actually, the ones who are riding, they are actually playing with their lives only. 10 minutes we have to arrive somehow. My God, we have seen them in traffic, no? So these people, even their tolerance level is little less. The people are in the mode of passion. Everything instant they want. Everything instant. You have got instant food also right now, right? And so much popular. But I will tell you, instant food, please refrain from as much as you can use it because it's carcinogenic. A lot of cancerous products are actually found in that. That's why you see a lot of rise in cancer also, right? So please stop. If you are using it, try to refrain using it or use it minimum, right? Don't. It will actually affect. So in the more, and I gave you the example of lift also, if you remember, right? Probably a person under passion only will do it, right? I told you, you all have to tell me what is the kind of mode that you are under, right? So please keep all this in mind because later on I'm going to ask you all, right? So the lift person is going to press and the lift is actually coming from the 10th floor and we see it's coming 9 and it stopped at 9, takes time to come till 8 and we're constantly pressing. Why it's not coming? And we already did our job, we don't need to press it again, but we constantly pressing faster. That's what we think, it's going to come faster. We already triggered the action, we don't need to say faster, faster, right? So, and this is the person who is very materialistic also. These people under the mode of passion, they are very materialistic. Someone has it, they also want it, right? So very passionate, very materialistic people, greedy, envious. We all spoke about that, right? And and like I said, the kind of happiness that they enjoy, poison, nectar at first, and poison later. So they want to enjoy first, and later on they repent, regret, suffer. So this is the kind of happiness the person under the mode of passion enjoys. Okay. Now let's look at ignorance, tamoguna. अव्युक्ता प्राकृता स्तब्धा सतो नैष्कृतो लसा विशदे दृगा सूत्रीच्छा कर्ता तामस उच्यते. Please read. You see the characteristic of a person under the mode of ignorance. Now, under the mode of ignorance, these people are never interested in scriptures or the teachings of scriptures. आज जो कल किसने देखा है? If you have gone, now we are learning Gita, and we probably have some kind of conversation with our friends or family. So you would have actually experienced this also, right? You would have experienced, and they will say, "कल किसने देखा है? आपको पता है? मरने के बाद क्या आपने देखा है?" Right? These are the questions that we'll get. So they are not interested only, or they don't want to inquire about what really is there going to happen. They are obstinate, ziddi. They have the certain kind of mindset, and they are obstinate, stubborn in that particular aspect, and they are These people are materialistic, they're obstinate, and cheating and expert in insulting others. They're always cheating, expert in insulting others. हमारे पास कुछ नहीं है, but insult करते रहो किसी और को, बुराई करते रहो किसी और का, right? And then they are always lazy. They love to sleep, by the way, right? They are procrastinating, right? They are procrastinating. If any kind of work is given, they are procrastinating. Sad, right? Not enthusiastic, always lethargic. So these are the characteristics of a person under the mode of, right? If he sleeps, he sleeps. You can't shake him, wake him, right? That is the characteristic of a person under the mode of ignorance. Now let's see what is the kind of happiness that person derives under the mode of ignorance. Yadagre chanubandhe cha sukam mohanam atmana nidralasya pramadottam tattamasam udharatam. Please read.
And that happiness which is blind to self-realization, which is division from beginning to end, and which is rising from sleep, laziness and illusion, itself to be of the nature of ignorance.
Thank you so much. So in this, the happiness that you derive is what? First was goodness. What is the happiness that we derive? It is poison and
Poison is the big
nectar at the end. And the happiness derived in the mode of passion? Poison. What is the kind of, come on, tell me, intelligent people, what is the kind? Is it? It is poison in the beginning, poison in the end also. Right? It's simple, no? The first is poison in the beginning and nectar, that is mode of goodness. Then second is passion, is nectar in the beginning and poison at the later end. And in the mode of ignorance, poison, poison, poison everywhere. Right? So I would like to talk about a little bit. Just give me a moment. Right. Now I want to ask actually. Now you actually, I told you I'm going to ask. Are you all ready? So you all can tell me what is the kind of mode of goodness. Tell me who all are in this mode of goodness. Ah, yeah, you can. Mode of ignorance, I just want to take. Just lift your hands. Mode of ignorance, nobody lifted up. Mode of goodness, see, we have mode of goodness. Mode of passion. Okay. Mode of ignorance. Oh, just me, huh? So, can you read this? There are no pure goodness, passion, or ignorance in material nature. A particular combination of modes makes a personality. So, no one you can say that he is under the mode of goodness 100%, or nobody is 100% under the mode of passion, or nobody is under the 100% under the mode of. It is a mixture. Simple, right? That makes more sense. See, that's why foolish are the people who say that Bhagavad Gita is not practical. It is so simple. It tells you the behavior and tells you. So in this we can gauge. There are certain kinds of situations that we'll come to know we are under the mode of goodness, or we are working under the mode of passion, or we are totally ignorant. It's so simple. So in this material world, nobody is actually completely in the mode of, it's actually a mixture, right? It's actually a mixture. Now I'll give you, this is color palette, mixture of RGB, red, green and blue. So this is the kind of, I'm just giving an analogy, right? This is the kind of three modes how it's going to work on you, right? So sometimes we have a large percentage of green, a small percentage of red, and small percentage of blue. What is the kind of color that we'll get? It will be different color. So if you mix and match the proportion of each color, every time you will get a different color. So that's the same way when the modes of material nature acts on you, the kind of behavior that you exhibit is because of the certain kinds of percentage of the modes of material that is acting upon you. Sometimes the mode of ignorance is so hard, 80% ignorance, 10% goodness and 10% passion. right? So we'll say, wow, pagal hai aadmi ye, kya kar raha hai, right? But at a later point, you will understand what is the kind of mode that is actually influencing him. It will help us think why a certain person is acting in a certain way, right? So if I would also like to talk about, maybe it's the next sloka. Let me just check. It's the next sloka. Yeah. So uh, I will also like to talk about food, right? Under this material nature, this material modes are there, right? Rajoguna, Tamoguna, and Satoguna. There is various aspects to it. If you talk about food, also food is also categorized under these various modes. A food under the mode of goodness is wholesome, juicy, and it actually prolongs your life, right? Satvik we say. And food under the mode of passion is something that someone wants very spicy, salty, bitter, will be quite pungent. इसमें नमक नहीं है, तो थोड़ा तीखा होना चाहिए, बहुत ज़्यादा गर्म होना चाहिए. Have heard that? So those are the kind of food that is under the mode of passion. And mode of ignorance is something that is decayed, that is dead flesh, right? All this, yeah, that is called tamasic. So that is the kind of food that comes under the mode of three different modes. I always tell people now it's very simple. A lot of people actually go out and eat, right? Now we have to understand when the certain person if is speaking and it is making a so much effect, it makes so much effect on our consciousness. When someone is speaking and making so much effect on our consciousness, we should be very careful of the things that we put in our mouth also. Imagine the kind of effect it has on your consciousness. But just by hearing it is affecting your consciousness, just think the kind of food that you eat, which is going inside, becoming blood and going to all parts of your body. Jaisa an vaisa man, we say, no? Right? So we should be very careful about the things that we put in our mouth. Right? We go to restaurant and we eat. I'm not telling you all don't go to restaurant. I'm just giving an example. When we go into a restaurant, the person who is cooking, do you know what kind of consciousness is in? He might be a very greedy person. He might be a very lusty person. And the same kind of the consciousness is actually poured into the food. This is the subtle nature, subtle law of nature. Right? Everything that you eat is actually transformed into food. Right? Just like, I'll give you another analogy, just like a painting. The painting is just not the masterful strokes of the painter. It is this thought which is actually captured in the painting, and the viewers get affected by it, seeing it. Similar way, when we eat food outside, we don't know what is the kind of consciousness that particular person. See, we are already dirty people. You'll agree? So much dirt is there inside us. And when we go out and eat, we are actually adding more. So we should be very careful. So when you come to a temple, I can talk about ISKCON because I've been here for long. So when we offer prasada, the kind of consciousness the cooks are supposed to be chanting 16 rounds. We chant here 1 round. They chant 16 rounds. And when they are cooking, we normally play the Maha Mantra because their consciousness is that. And the consciousness is that such that they are actually preparing it for the Lord. And so they have to maintain hygiene also. So that's why it's called prasad. Mahaprasad, right? So that's very important, the kind of consciousness that we go into, even when we're cooking at home, right? The consciousness is very important. If you are very angry and we are cooking, the same kind of consciousness we are putting in that food. And we are feeding our people. So that's why it's very important to understand that the subtle nature of the law, how the consciousness actually transforms into food and influences us. Right? Does it make it simple to understand? Right? I spoke about food because it's very easy to understand. Right? Let's look at now. Let's look at. See, this is the same thing. When I said that different modes of material nature act differently on each one of us. Right? So let's look at this particular shloka. Rajastamas chabhibhya Sattvam bhavati bharata Rajah Sattvam Tamaschaiva Tamas Sattvam Rajastata. Can someone read, please?
Sometimes the mode of goodness becomes prominent, usually the mode of passion and knowledge, or son of Bharata. Sometimes the mode of passion will be goodness and endurance, and at other times, ignorance will be goodness and bad. In this way, there is always competition.
Yes, yes. Now we got the answer why people change drastically. Sometimes their mood, sometimes their decision. Why it changes drastically? Because the three modes of material nature are acting all of us, right? And so, if you actually think in a deeper sense, we cannot actually blame or term someone as good or evil, right? When you have a deeper understanding, we tend to understand that if a certain person is taking a certain decision at a certain point of time, a certain mode is actually influencing it, right? But right now we say that दिमाग नहीं है, पागल आदमी है, क्या बोल रहा है, right? But at a later point, we understand that it is the different modes of material nature that is acting upon him, and, right? So it is like you all said, like we all agree, that it's always the different modes of material nature that is acting upon us, right? So this is what the shloka is talking about. A lot of people say that we have come across this where people say that see this Bhagavad Gita, it was spoken 5,500 years back. When Arjuna, did he have WhatsApp? Did he have Instagram? Right? The kind of problems that we face, emails, right? So he didn't have to face. But it's the situation that Arjuna faced, we also face in our daily life, right? The confusion, the depression, the anxiety. This is all common, right? Does it change? So even though technology has improved, we say, but the problem remains the same, right? So that's why Bhagavad Gita is relevant. That's why it's called a scripture that is always eternal, right? Always the teachings of this particular scripture is always eternal and it's always useful, right? Now, how do we get into these modes? We have to understand this, right? Just like that, the modes of material nature won't work on us. How do we get into these particular modes? Right? Something should happen. Let's look into this particular shloka from chapter 13, verse 22. Purusham prakriti stohi bhunke prakriti janguna karanam guna sangasyo sat asadyo janmasu. Someone read, please. Yes. Yes. Thank you so much. So now we understand how these different modes work. It is only by karanam guna sangasya, association with that material nature. Right? What is it that people say? No, that I spoke about this last class. What is our nature like? It is the average of 5 people that we hang out with. This is our association, and that's where we actually get those qualities, right? Influencing, yes, yes. So it's very important. I am giving understanding as to how. I spoke about food, how it comes under the different modes, and how it actually influences us, our consciousness. Under the mode of goodness, it helps us to be a little better, right? Better than the rest too. It's the best actually. And passion, you're actually going down. Ignorance is completely bad, right? And when we look at a place also, that also affects us. Place also affects us. Now, when you go, if I tell you to wear dhoti kurta and go to your office, will you feel that kind of passion to work? So clothing also sometimes, right, affects, right? So that also affects sometimes, right? So there are times that I can't work with the dhoti and kurta and think about numbers. It's very difficult for me. There are people who do it. The way I am so materially conditioned that I need to wear a pant or something and then work, right? Similar way, if I tell you if we are taking a class here, we have the class here, and I get you a bottle of whiskey here, I pour a peg, and I give you Prabhuji, please have. Will you take it? No, we won't, because this place is sacred. We won't do such thing, उनसे प्रभु जी क्या ऐसा क्यों बोल रहे हैं right? The same thing when you are in a discotheque, club, you're dancing, heavy music, right? People around. That time I give you my chanting bag. I tell Hare Krishna, please chant. Can you do it? Why? Place is very important. Yes, place is very important. Place also affects us. So when we look at this particular building, right? This is actually a commercial building, we can say, right? Because there is a school down, there is a PG on top. Right? It's a commercial building. What and there's a commercial place, but the activities that we do in this place is so devotional and it's so spiritual. The whole atmosphere changes. I've heard from devotees that whenever we come here, it is a different feel itself. Yes, it's a totally different feel, right? Because here we treat it as temple. We take care of things. We clean the place. We worship the Lord every day. We offer Him the bhoga. It's just like a temple. A lot of people say that when we chant at home and when we chant here, there is a lot of difference. Do you all agree? So that's why we say, because every day there are a lot of people who stay near the temple zone. They actually go in the morning and chant together, finish their rounds. It actually helps them, right? So when we are chanting alone, we will probably dozing here, there, right? If someone actually videos us when we are chanting, 10 minutes of chanting, I'm telling, it'll be the most funniest video that we would have ever seen. That's like the pendulum I spoke about, the mode of passion, right? When oscillating here and there. That's the same thing that we'll do when we are chanting. So this is affecting the place also, affects us so much. And then I spoke about people. When you are in the path of spirituality, it's very important to choose the people you hang out with. By this, I'm not saying that you just neglect the people that you are with right now. That is very inhuman, right? Today I am in spiritual path, my friend is not following. I'd say dosti band. Do we do that? No, we should not do that. See, picking association is very important, but keeping in mind that we are very human. Because when you are actually spiritual, you should not lose the compassionate part of your aspect. Because spirituality actually makes you very compassionate. Yes, empathetic. Right? So it is not that my mother is not following, my father is not following, today I'm leaving them. No, that's not the way. Spirituality means you are going to better yourself and help the people around you. It is not that today I give him a session and I expect him to change the next day. Can we expect that? No. No, I cannot control anything. See, even Lord Krishna, He has given us free will. Right? He doesn't come in between that. Say, after speaking the entire Gita, in 18th chapter, Krishna says that now that you heard it from me, now do as you please. Lord Himself doesn't force anyone. Who are we to force anyone? Right? So it is very important that when we are in the path of spirituality, we are very compassionate to the people around us. We better ourselves and we try to help them. That is very important. So the first thing, we have to better ourselves. Just by we're coming to 3-4 classes of Bhagavad Gita, I'm enlightened, I'm evolved, I can take over the world. No, we are still there. But we are inquisitive, we are trying to understand. And just by gathering knowledge won't help you. It's very important, when you gather knowledge, it will only come into effect if you are actually practicing it. Otherwise, there are people who take knowledge from here, he has got a lot of knowledge, but there is no realization or he is not practicing it. You are actually losing the essence. Now, if I want water, I dig this place, I dig little, then I go there and dig little. Will I ever get water? I have to dig the same place till deeper. And that's what the concepts of Bhagavad Gita will help you. We'll dig deeper into the concepts. And while we dig deeper, we need to practice also. That's why I say that regular chanting is required. For start, one round is all we ask. I don't ask, but I'm telling you, it will help you all. So, can you all tell me who all is chanting one round at least? Very nice, very nice. So I need to see more hands. See, like I said, this month is so important. It's the Kartik month. One round of chanting will probably give you benefit of 100 rounds. Right? So it's very important. If you have not started, this is the right month to start. Kartik month is actually given to the devotees so they can deepen the spiritual practices. Right? That doesn't mean that you just stop at one. You can do more also. Just because I said start with one. Right? You can do more also. But you have to start. And what better day or better month than Kartik? Right? And today also we'll actually sing the Damodar Ashtakam, and actually we'll offer the lamp to Damodar, Lord Damodar, like we did last. This will go on for a month. Right? And we already spoke about the different kinds of food. Food affects the people, the place, right? So associating with people is very important. Reading scriptures is very important. Hearing from the right source is very important. This will all help you in this path of spirituality. Now, we spoke about the different kinds of mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. Now a question to you. Which is the best mode? Mode of goodness. Who says mode of goodness? Okay. Who says mode of passion? Nobody. Passion, okay. Nobody says passion. Mode of ignorance. Only me. Nobody agrees. Huh? Does anybody know the right answer? Combination again? Okay. Let's actually look into Gita only. We'll find the answer from Gita only. Okay, let's repeat this shloka. Satvam sukhe sanjayati rajakarmani bharata jnanam avritya tu tama pramade sanjayati uta. Can someone read please? Yes. So here you're talking about different kinds of yes, modes, and that is goodness actually condition one person to happiness. Another thing is that passion condition oneself to fruitive action. I want to do this to get this. It conditions him to that particular mode, right? And ignorance actually covers the entire knowledge. He's not interested in scriptures and is totally into madness, ignorant, right? Totally into madness. Now it is said even the mode of goodness is not good. Why is that? What happens is in the mode of goodness, we enjoy happiness and we become complacent. Everything is good right now. I want this. Chanting one round is good right now. Going once a week to center is good as of now. He is satisfied with whatever is happening. So that is actually a roadblock in happiness. I'll give an example. There was a king, and there was his minister and one of his foot soldier who had gone for hunting. As he went hunting, he crossed his empire and he went into the neighboring empire. And when he went into the neighboring empire, the neighboring army caught him and they chained him. The king was chained with gold shackles, gold iron bars, gold bars. And the minister was given silver shackles and he was behind the silver bar. And the foot soldier was given the iron shackles and iron bar. Now tell me who's in a better situation? Why? Gold. No. You know what the rate is? Gold today. Exactly. See, what is the ultimate purpose of life? It is actually to get out of the material nature. Now, when we actually are in the mode of goodness, we are enjoying a certain kind of happiness. and we become complacent and we don't go forward. See, mode of goodness is very good for, it's very conducive for doing bhakti. So we have to, if we are in the mode of ignorance or we are in the mode of passion, we need to rise up to the mode of goodness. Now that doesn't mean you stay in the mode of goodness. You need to rise, because mode of goodness also comes under the material nature. So mode of goodness is actually very conducive for doing any kind of spiritual activity. Right? We are increasing our mode of goodness as we chant daily. We are increasing our mode of goodness as we come regularly for Gita class. We are increasing our mode of goodness as we listen to Kirtan, as we see Aarti, and as we eat prasadam. Right? But this is something that we do on a steady basis. So even when I say, when you read Bhagavad Gita, you read it regularly. We have Shloka a day app. Please read it regularly. Don't wait for the weekend. Weekend, yes, you should wait, you should come to the class. But don't just depend on that. Your knowledge will increase as you read scriptures. You may have questions. Right? And that is very important. Right? So that's why it said that even the mode of goodness is actually not very good. But it's very conducive. So right now we are probably being dominated by mode of passion and ignorance. Goodness is somewhere down. We need to add more and more so that our goodness, the mode of goodness, becomes more prominent in our life. And also an understanding that don't stay just happy here in the mode of goodness. Peace of mind mil raha hai, bas kafi hai. So we have to go beyond that. Only good things you will do while you're in the mode of goodness. But again, what the good things that you do will probably fetch you another life. And our motive is that break the cycle of birth and death. Otherwise, it's going to again, it's the same rat race that we do again. We can't be sure that we'll get another Gita course that is coming next life. Probably someone will call you during Janmashtami, but you say it's okay. At that point of time, your mode of passion is more on you. So you say, इसमें काम क्या है, क्या रखा है, मुझे पैसा कमाना है. नहीं, mode of ignorance, मेरे को घर जाके सोना है, कौन क्लास में आएगा Sunday? Right? So if we are there right now in association, make maximum use of it. Right? Take maximum, benefit yourself that way. That is very important. Now, how to get free from these modes? So Krishna says, Mam chayo vyabacharina bhakti yogena sevate sagunam samityatam brahma bhujaya kalpate. Can someone read, please? Yes, yes. Thank you so much. So this one, you have to understand, it's only by devotional service we actually can get out of the modes of material nature. Right? To go to the spiritual world, we should do something that is spiritual. If you do things that are material, you will stay in the material world. Right? So that's why it is said in this particular yuga, it is Harinam that is the most important. It is the Yuga Dharma. That's why in so many scriptures it is mentioned. Kali Kale Naam Rupe Krishna Avatar. In Kali Kal, Krishna comes as Nama. He avatars, takes avatar as Naam. Harinam. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita also, Satatam Kirtayanto Ma. Always do Kirtana. Right? Kirtaniya Sada Hari. There are so many scriptures that it only talks about why it's so important to actually do Naam Jap in this particular yuga. Some of us may feel, इसमें क्या मिलता है? Right? Some of us feel that, always doubt. Right? And when we understand, when we start reading scriptures, that's when we understand, we get the, where you talk about peace of mind, the bliss, you'll all experience it if you do it the right way. Don't expect that you feel changes in 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. There are people who are practicing it for years. still struggling. It's a constant struggle. Your mind may wander, you need to get it back. That is called mantra meditation. Constantly focus on the mantra. That is very important. So don't expect, there are people who come to me, Prabhu, I'm constantly chanting the holy names of the Lord, but I'm still greedy, I'm so lusty. See, the thing is, you have to understand one thing. What happens when you switch off the fan? Does it switch off immediately? It turns, right? It's still oscillating, right? It takes time to turn. So you should give yourself time. The process is right, but you should be not very hard on yourself. This is not working. I need to find something else. No, this is the process that is mentioned in our scriptures. And Lord will not just give something and say, which is not working, because Lord is the most merciful and most compassionate. So every yoga is according to our capacity. He has given the yoga dharma that needs to be followed. Like, he is not telling us to meditate for thousands of years. First of all, we don't have the lifespan, and we won't do it also, even if we have lifespan, if it's in Kali Yuga. Because we are so busy with WhatsApp and Instagram. Where do we have the time? Right? So it's very important. So meditation, mantra meditation is actually going to help you. For a start, we need to do this. On a regular basis, faith, scriptures, and association. Association is so important. So here, the people are actually come with one goal, that is to learn. Come with one goal, that we need to take darshan of the Lord. Come with one goal, that I can listen to amazing kirtan of the Lord. No, this 2-3 hours is actually going to create so much nice experience within you. Right? A lot of people I've heard say that it's like detox for them. 6 days we are doing so many nonsense activities. 7th day when we come, it's like clearing our head. Right? So I hope you're all focusing on what I'm saying, because we spoke about mind also, because when I'm saying something, you're probably thinking so many things. Right? Now, how to get along with different people? Let's look into this. I heard something amazing. There will be a person in everyone's life who will test all parameters to its extreme. Some of us have it in our family, some of us have it outside. Right? They will test everything. Stress test, durability test, functionality test, every test they are taking. Right? So everyone faces this. And we have to understand it's the different kinds of material, modes of material nature that is acting upon us. The what kind of different people that we meet. Some are comfortable, right? Some are manageable. Some are good at a distance, right? We always meet this kind of people. Yeah. Now, when you talk about, I'm just taking you back to a little about Vedic times. Astrology was given a lot of importance there. Now, just taking few things from astrology. I don't know astrology, so don't ask me to read your kundli or give you predictions as to what is really going to happen. I can say one thing: death is going to happen. That I can predict for each one of them, right? And you can't really say that it won't happen. So when you talk about marriage, there are 3 kinds of ganas in astrology also. The one is Deva Gana, Asura Gana, and Manav Gana. Right? There are 3 ganas. So Asura Gana is in the mode of ignorance, Deva Gana is in the mode of goodness, and Manav Gana is in the mode of passion. Okay? So even during the Vedic times, or even actually a person who is actually well versed in astrology. Right now, I also used to believe in astrology, but there are people who don't practice it really properly. Right? So sometimes we lose our faith in astrology also, right? But astrology is a deep science for people who actually practice it very nicely. And we have to understand during Vedic times what they used to do. They used to match people of the same guna. So someone is in the mode of Manav Gana. They used to get someone in the, that's what they used to do Kundli matching, they say. Manav Gana, if someone is in the same Gana, they'll actually go hand in hand. And marriages, though there are ups and downs, they'll adjust and go. And what happens if someone is say the wife is in Manavgana, mode of passion, and husband is in the mode of ignorance, what will happen? Wife is telling, I want to go shopping, shopping, chalo, ye naya store khula hai, and this fellow wants to sleep. Huh? Sounds a bit like our story, right? So that's why in the Vedic times they used to actually, the Kundali used to be matched, and a majority of the percentage marriage used to go successful, right? Right now, there are people who actually, there is something called as live-in relationship is there. Everyone knows about live-in relationship. There is courtship before marriage also. Yeah, people know courtship before marriage also. Now, if you ask the people also why are you in a live-in relationship, or why do you do courtship? You're engaged and there is 6 months left for marriage. So they say that it is to understand the person better, right? But tell me one thing: today's class you read, you understood. Can we understand anyone? So difficult. If you ask the person who's married for 50 years, he will probably say, I still haven't understood my husband, or I still haven't understood my wife. Right? Because it's so difficult. It is so difficult to understand a person. Right? If you think that if this is a, what do you call, a trick to actually work everything fine, make everything fine, this is not going to work, make everything fine. Right? So now you understand, right? Okay. I'm a very passionate person. I want someone very passionate only. I'll tell him, get your kundli here. Can I hire? Can I hire that way? No, we have to be realistic and understand everyone is working under different modes. And the percentage or the inclination to a certain mode at a certain point of time is very different. So it's very difficult to gauge a person, a behavior of a person. A moment he is good, the next moment is bad. Right? We all understood that. Let's look at this particular sloka. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtati akarmakrit karyate he avashya karma sarva prakritiyer gune. Can someone please read?
Everyone is forced that helps to contribute what is required from the most of the therefore no one can refrain from doing something, not for
Yeah. So people are helplessly influenced by the modes of material nature. Just like a river is actually flowing in a particular direction, right? And I want to swim against the current. Will that happen? It's very difficult. We'll actually, when we jump into the water, we'll actually flow with the current, right? So it's very important. That's one of the reasons that we talk about why association is so important, right? Association will actually help you. That's why I say pick your association wisely. It's very important, right? If you are in a spiritual path, be with like-minded people who will actually help you grow, right? If you want to be in the mode of goodness, be with people who you see that there is certain kind of mode of goodness in that particular person. Otherwise, if you are passionate and you're mingling with someone is passionate and you're mingling with that particular person, you will also be under that particular mode. Now, I will give you an example. Do you know crab mentality? Now, if you see, I think in Mumbai and all, when people catch crabs, right, they put it in a tokri and they don't put a lid on it. You know why? One crab climbs outside, that fellow knows that other crab will pull him down. The same, very similar to what is there in corporates also, you know? Huh? So it's very simple. So that's called the crab mentality. मैं इधर हूँ, तू भी यहाँ रहे. Right? So it's very important that association that we pick is very important. Right? And this will all help us at the final test, which is death. Now, death is an aspect that nobody wants to talk about. If I speak about death, they say, why, Prabhuji, you are so negative? Right? But death is the only fact. Only thing constant, ultimate. That's the only reality, right? Everyone agrees. So there is a beautiful shloka from Mahabharata, Vanaparva. No, everyone, there is a pastime of Yudhishthira actually being questioned by Yamraj. What is the most wonderful thing in this world, they ask. You know what Yudhishthira says? Uh, he says, this particular shloka is there. Ahani ahani bhutani gachanti yamalayam titha stavara shesham. So what he says is, ahani ahani bhutani, there are people who are dying on a regular basis. Every day people are dying. And the person watching it is thinking that he is deathless. Right? He will never come there. And this is the most wonderful thing he says. Right? So whatever we are doing right now is actually preparing ourselves. It's very important for the final exam. We spoke about in the class of karma how at the time of death your conscience, your thought is so important. Now coming back here, that's why I'm saying association with people is very important. And what you do most when it comes to, I spoke about last class, I spoke about the red and white balls. Everyone remembers? See, we have so much red in our head, so much bad things in our head. We are trying to fill now with white balls, which is all the devotional activities that we do. Doing mantra meditation, coming for kirtan, right? Singing the Lord's names, hearing from a devotee about the Lord. So these are all the white balls that we are having in our head. Imagine our head is open and someone actually picks up something from our head. The probability of, if you're adding more whites, the probability of getting white is more. Right? Similarly, at the time of death, when thousands of slides are running and you're leaving your body, 10,000, it says that when you're actually dying, it says that 10,000 or 40,000 scorpion bites. That's the kind of pain is you face when your soul is actually pulled out of your body. At that moment, can you remember Krishna?
Yes.
Only if you have practiced it. There are people who think that, oh, this is, once they read, there are philosophers, oh, this is the ultimate goal. At the time of death, I need to remember Krishna. Take it. So he writes it down in his notebook. At the time of death. Huh? At the time of death, if he has not done, he has done all nonsense activities in his life. He's attached to his family, he is attached to his whatever, his house, his property, he's attached to all this. At the time of death, when you are facing that pain, you think he'll remember Krishna? Probably he came the darshan of Krishna once a week. You will remember Krishna if you take darshan of Krishna? You will remember Krishna if you take darshan just once a week? No. No. So here, that's why constant practice is required. So when you're constantly seeing and hearing, that is the only thought that will come at the time of death. Like I said, the probability of coming, thinking about Krishna is more. If you're chanting the holy names of the Lord, at the time of death, we are probably chanting his name and leaving our body. Right? So it's very important. This is a preparation for us. So we have to deepen our bhakti. And that will only happen when we come together, when we listen together, when we chant together, and when we take darshan of the Lord together. It's so important. Right? So today's class, I will actually stop at this because is there anything else that I need to cover? Okay, let's just cover the last slide. How to get along with people. This is a practical tip actually. So we have to understand modes will work for sure, but effect can be minimized. Right? Modes will work on us. Right? But we need to have a constant goal. If you don't have a purpose, then it's a problem. If you have a purpose that I need to deepen my bhakti, I need to deepen my devotional services, you will act accordingly. Right? So that is very important. Second is hate the sin, not the sinner. Right? So now we understood that different modes actually act upon him. So there is a concept that hate the sinner, hate the sin and not the sinner. Forming perception of people is destructive. People change. We are very judgmental. Every one of us judge. We have met a certain person for half an hour and we judge his entire life. We have never even faced a single thing that he has faced in his life, or why a certain topic that I spoke about a particular person, then I get a negative vibe from him. I say, "ये मेरे को लगता है ऐसे ही है." But do we all do that? We all do that, right? We pass judgments like just like that, right? So with this understanding how the material modes act upon us, will help us not to judge, right? Help us think, take a step back and think why he's acting in a certain way. And when you get affected by someone, don't ponder on it too much. Don't think about it too much. I spoke about last class. Mind. What does mind do? Like and dislikes, it magnifies the problem. Do you all remember? It magnifies the problem. I gave an example. You always remember this example that I'm giving you because it'll be easy for you to remember. It's about the tooth extraction that I gave. Remember? You extract one tooth and your tongue goes there only. 31 good things are happening in your life, but we are focused on one bad thing. Right? So it's very important. So when you get affected by someone, don't ponder on it too much. Don't magnify it. Right? So it is very important in Srimad Bhagavatam also it is said that it is only the mind that is the main cause of our misery. Right? So always we have a higher goal in life, right? And higher goal in life means deepening our bhakti to reach the eternal destination and help the fellow members as well who are struggling. Right? That is very important. Right? So first is be better ourselves, then only we'll have the capacity to help someone. If we are only struggling, can we help someone? No, we can't. If I say that don't get angry and I'm the person who gets angry, it will be just like words coming out of mouth and not having any effect on you people. Practice what you preach. Very important. Anger also. Everything you need to control. Anger, they say, it's like holding a coal in your hand. Yeah, poison in your hand. You have so much grudge against that person, but you're holding it in your mind. It's just like holding a burning coal in your hand. Whom is it hurting? Ourselves. Right? So I'll stop with this. Thank you so much. I wanted to finish on time because I came late, but thank you so much. I know it's Diwali season. So many good things, no? So many good things in this particular month, Kartik month. So many good things are happening in this particular. It's very nice to have so many devotees. I was not expecting so many devotees today, and I'm so thankful that you all came. So next week also we are going to have class, a special class. I've invited one of our senior devotees to actually take the class. So please do come. So we want to ensure that the class goes on. So what happens if there is a break? Then you all think, छूट गया, कल कुछ plan करते हैं, right? So that is very important. That is very. So human nature is like that. No? We make plans like this. So this is something so that we make you all steady, right? There are times that when there is no class, you should miss the class. आज class क्यों नहीं है? Right? That kind of feeling comes, then it is good. I'm missing something this week. शायद किसी जो volunteer है उनसे बात कर लेते हैं. At least you can do that. If you have a question or if you have a doubt while you're reading Shloka a day or anything of that sort, you can actually call up your volunteer also. They will help you. How much ever busy they are, if they are not able to pick your call, they will actually tell you back that I'll call at a certain time. Right? We'll all help you. So don't worry. So thank you so much for listening to me for a little more than an hour. If there are any questions, please you can ask. If it's related to this topic or anything else that we have discussed in the previous topics also. If you have any questions, please do ask.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु।
Hare Krishna.
सब्जी मुझे ये जानना था कि उन्हें 16 माला करने का क्या मतलब है?
Okay. So actually, when Srila Prabhupada started off, see, we have to understand one thing that the kind of in a day we have 24 hours of time. 6 to 7 hours we spend sleeping. Another 7 to 8 hours we work in material world. Rest how many hours are there? 10 hours is there? 8 hours? Huh? In that 8 hours, what are we doing? Eating, watching movie. So where there is time for bhakti? So what Srila Prabhupada initially when he started off, he said that everyone should do 64 rounds. 64 rounds. So devotees at that point of time, they said that Prabhuji, Srila Prabhupada, they said, we are all working also, grihasthas. So Srila Prabhupada said, okay, fine, no problem. Do 32 rounds. Again, some people came and complained, I have a family, wife, kid. So then Srila Prabhupada said, at least do minimum 16. So when the acharyas say a certain amount of numbers will be good enough, we should actually follow that good enough number. So 16 is a number that Srila Prabhupada wanted us to be steady enough. And there is a verse in one of the scriptures which has the number of names that we need to chant in a lifetime to achieve perfection. I forgot that verse. I'll get you that verse. But that chanting doesn't mean that we just take Krishna's name, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. That is chanting properly, right? Attentive chanting. And if you do, that is some crores of names, right? And Srila Prabhupada actually gave that particular number based on 25 years you can complete this. That's why he gave 64 count that time. And he was expecting his disciples to actually do attentive chanting. So when the devotees said that it's very difficult, then he made it 16. Right? So ultimate aim is that we deepen our bhakti. Right? Ultimate aim is that we try and follow the acharya, because ultimately his goal is actually to for our betterment only. He is not getting anything out of it. So he is compassionate. The gurus are always compassionate. And they say at least 2 hours you should spend in your day, 24 hours of time. If you don't think 2 hours also about Krishna, at the time of death, how will you think? 70 years of your life. At least 2 hours in a day we should. That's why we say, no, 2 hours. There are a lot of devotees who chant. There are 16 round chanters who are there. I also chant 16 rounds. So we chant early in the morning so that we are ready to face the world. It's not that I will not have any problems in my life. I have problems in my life, be it office, be it relatives or friends or everything. But it gives us certain kind of, what do we say, a certain kind of power or understanding to actually deal with it. Right? And that is very important. It is to actually shield ourselves. Right? So 16 rounds is the minimum rounds that we need to chant. So it's not that you all need to chant 16 rounds immediately. Right? That won't happen. You need to take it step by step. Take it slowly. Right? One round, one round, one round. Then you start. That's when you increase. So now I'm telling you to read one sloka a day. Slowly read 2. Slowly read 3. Slowly start spending 30 minutes in a day for reading. That's how you increase. Right? When I say, a lot of people say, no, don't have time. I spoke about this. If it is a priority, you will make it time. Make time for it. Right? So when you think, yes, this is priority, I need to do it along with the other material activities that I need to do to sustain my family, this is also equally important. When you give that kind of priority and balance it, that's the best way to go forward. Right? So that's why. Any other questions?
You mentioned that soul desire is like for mind of control.
Yes.
I want to question if soul desire.
It's a soul that desires. So when we say the only intrinsic quality of a soul is that desires. Soul will desire, right? And mind is like what do we say? Is like an interface, right? It's like I'll give you an example of a computer. So there is a user, and computer has got its hardware, and computer has its software. So the user, I set a command or something. Then the mind actually is like an interface which actually deals with the other organs or the other hardware. So that's how it works. So soul's main objective is actually design. So there are a lot of philosophies which says that you should be completely desireless. Now that is not practical. The soul, intrinsic quality of a soul is actually you'll have desires. Right? Now, when you read scriptures and you practice on a daily basis, the desires will be according to the injunctions mentioned in the scriptures. Otherwise, our mind has so many desires that we have because we have seen so many things. Some of it is good, some of it is bad. So the only quality that we have is a desire. So, see, it's a subtle nature of the soul. Soul actually is in the spiritual platform. So when it gets in touch with the material platform, then there are material desires that come into play. Soul, as such, is called Sachidananda. It's always eternal, always blissful, and knowledgeable. Right? That is the eternal quality of the soul. That's what it says. But when we actually associate with the material nature, we become asat, no ananda, and our chit also is not. What is the other word opposite of chit? Anyone knows? No, no. Achit. Yes, achit. Yes. So that's everything ulta when you come into a contact of material nature. Otherwise, the quality of a soul is Sat, Chit, Ananda. Always blissful, always eternal, and full of knowledge. Yeah. Yeah. Any other question? I'll take one more question. Yes. If there are any other questions, please, I'm here. So please, if probably a question pops up at a later point of time, please do ask.
He told that it's so good that so it's just an observe for the
No, that's not the way it is. Even if you see in Bhagavad Gita, there is a sloka where actually Krishna says he puts everything, like I spoke about the last sloka, Bhumi Rapo Nano Vayu Kammano Buddhi Evacha, which is leading from gross elements to subtle material elements. That is the hierarchy. Bhumi Rapo Nano Vayu, then Ahankara, then mind, then intelligence, and then he says on top of this comes the soul. So there is the hierarchy that comes. And ultimately, the desire of the soul is very important. And the desire comes from soul only. It doesn't come from, according to Bhagavad Gita, the desires come from soul only.
only kind of desire that we have
See, that is according, and like I said, this is according to the association, Karano Guna Sangatya. The kind of association that you had in this life and the kind of association that you had previous life also. This all comes into picture. And then based on that is what your soul will desire. Right? So soul as such is very spiritual and very pure. But when it gets in touch with the material nature, it gets contaminated. And then we get associated with different modes of nature. And then we get associated with different kinds of people. Then we get associated with kinds of food that we have, associated with the kind of place, people, everything is actually adding to it. And that's when our desires also crop up. Okay? So ultimately, we are trying to make a pure desire, right? A desire that will benefit us. So ultimately, we are walking that path. Yeah. So thank you so much. So today, Harish Babu is there? Yeah. So we'll start with Kirtan. Aarti. Again, today it's Damodara Ashtakam. And we'll offer lamb to the Lord Damodar. Tuji photo is there, Lord. And again, the way to do the Aarti is 4 times at the lotus feet, clockwise, 2 times navel area, 3 times face, 7 times full body. Okay? And next class is actually, it's a very interesting class actually. Next class, Sunday, I'm getting one of the guest like speakers to actually speak. And after that is a very important topic. I think it's called the lost wealth, if I'm not wrong, where we lost our Vedic culture. How the Mohammedans and the Britishers actually broke the entire culture. We'll get deep into that. And you'll feel so sad listening to that. Very sad. And so that is where we need to actually, that topic is so important for us as spiritualists to understand where we lost the most important gem, right? And that is very important for us to, because for our kids to tell them the importance, we need to understand that first, right? So that'll be the next session, which is not this Sunday. This Sunday will be a special class by one of the guest speakers that I'm going to get, and following that will be the lost wealth. Yeah. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Happy Diwali in advance, since I will not probably be, because I'll be traveling to Mumbai. So happy Diwali in advance. Thank you so much for coming today, Sunday. Thank you for your association. Thank you for giving me the seva. And let's all listen to, oh yeah, main aspect I only forgot. See, I think I have been associating with wrong people. So let's do a 5 minutes mantra meditation. Yeah. Please take out your beads. Just 5 minutes will take. Please don't consider this as one round. So this is just that we set a mood here, right? It's very important. Just don't consider we chant 30, 40 times and that's it. Today's round is done. We should be in a constant mood that this is not enough. I know it's very difficult. Whatever I'm chanting is not enough, right? But as our spiritual, as we deepen our bhakti, that is when you will actually feel so, right? Whatever I'm doing is also not enough. Very less time I'm spending for Krishna. Yeah, that time that will come only when you start spending time for Krishna, right? Okay. So everyone, I'll request everyone to please get your personal beads and personal japa bag. It's very important because this is very personal, right? This is, we need to use this. So whoever doesn't have it, please buy it. We have it in our bookshelf counter. So please do contact Arun Prabhu is here. You can take from him. Okay. So please close your eyes. Let's chant for 5 minutes. Let's park our thoughts for 5 minutes. Let's only dedicate this 5 minutes to Lord. 5 minutes only concentrate on the holy names of the Lord that will come out of our mouth. We don't need to think about anything else. 5 minutes. We're going to dedicate this entire 5 minutes to the Lord and His holy name. Please repeat after me. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Let's chant. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare